Thank you. So welcome once again, and we did introduce the class the other time. We have some people who are talking and uh, who is making this noise? Okay, thank you. My exposure to people usually people group, tribes, or people from countries. One memorable way of getting exposed to them is eating foods that are specific for their context. For example, let's say injera. I know that I have not eaten injera anywhere except with my Ethiopian friends. So I think South Sudan, I also ate something that I had never tasted it, but it was from the South Sudanese. So anytime I think of that food, I think of South Sudanese. But there's something that is peculiar with the country I come from, which is Nigeria. In fact, West Africa. It's called jollof rice. Have you heard of jollof rice before? Jollof rice. It's a way of cooking rice that is very unique and for West Africa. So recently, I went to attend a program where a Kenyan chef prepared jollof rice. And he was happy that he prepared the jollof rice so well. He was happy. But we that are Nigerians, Kenyans that were there were saying, oh, this is how jollof rice tastes. Oh, it's good, it's good. But we that are Nigerians, we know that this jollof rice was not good enough. Or it's just like me trying to cook injera. If I do it, I may think, oh, I'm doing a good job. But if there's an Ethiopian there and he sees the injera, he may say, nah, something is wrong with this injera. So there is a power that comes from when people who own a thing do that thing. There is a power that comes from it that cannot be found elsewhere. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, thank you. I'm saying that there is a power that comes with when you do something that emanates, that grows out from your context. For example, I may learn how to do injera for 1 year, but an Ethiopian child may outperform me. Is that true? Yeah, an Ethiopian child may outperform me because injera is an Ethiopian thing, So he feels like, no, this is my thing, and he would do it differently. Just as though this man is a professional chef, and he prepared jollof rice, and the Kenyans will say, oh, we are eating West African jollof rice. We that are from West Africa, we say, nah, something is wrong with this. This is not tasting like jollof rice. So you see, a lot has been told about Christianity in Africa. But mostly, the things that have been said about Christianity in Africa was written by those who do not come from Africa. So, as a result, the taste is not sounding African when we hear it. And that is why it is very important in this class that we look at Africans looking at African Christianity. looking at African Christianity. There's a another course called the History of World Christianity. Now, World Christianity has this that World Christianity studies Christianity as it is uh, taken by individual group, how it is absorbed, how it is contextualized by each individual group, yet it is Christian. So we don't have to do Christianity like they do in America. We don't have to copy like they do in Europe. We can still be true to our faith. We can still be true to our scriptures, yet uh, relevant to our culture. So in this course, the history of African Christianity, we are not going like the way of the study of world Christianity because that is a field of study. Neither are we going the Western way, but we are trying to study African Christianity as Africans. We're trying to be true to our context, and we're not trying to be true to reality, to the facts, but also we're trying to be true to our context. So if you remember last week we looked at this. We talked about the course description and uh, before we continue, let me say this. I have a lot of resources for you. They are books. Now the problem is I could have sent them through email, but they are too heavy to go through email. And because of that, I'm sending a link. With that link, you will go into my Google Drive. I'm still setting it up. In fact, that's what I dedicate today doing. So you will go into my Google Drive and you download those books. Is that okay? Uh, Is that too sophisticated for you?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you would go,
Is
I'll
that easy
send,
way, doctor?
sorry, I didn't get that.
That is not easy way, I think. Um, it complicates.
Okay. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
I will send you a link. When the link is shared to you, all you have to do is click the link. It will take you
Okay.
straight to my Google Drive.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm still setting it up. If it takes you to my Google Drive, you will see history of world Christianity. Sorry, history of African Christianity resources. Then you click on the zip file. You can download the zip file. Then you open the zip file. You see all the books there.
Thank you.
Yes, that's how it is. Sorry, we are in an advanced world now, so we have to go with technology. It's a beautiful thing. Besides, it's because of technology that we're able to hold a class from different parts of the world, isn't it?
Sorry, would you
Yeah.
repeat once again?
Yes.
I said we are in a world that
No,
is
no, no.
technological.
No, how we enter into Google.
No, I've saved them in my
Link.
Google
Good
Drive.
drive.
Google Drive.
So I'm going to send you a link. I would put the link I will send you another course syllabus where I will put the link. But I'll also send the link through Mr. Daniel. Is that his name, Mr. Daniel? Yeah. I'm going to send the link also through Mr. Daniel. But if you have the course syllabus in your computer and your computer is connected to the internet, all you have to do is click on the link on the syllabus and it will direct you straight to where you will find the resources. Then you download it. So you have all the books to yourself. Let me see. Like for those doing systematic theology, I think I have 17 books for you. And I'm still looking for more. Those doing those in this class, Let me see. How many books do I have for you? So I can't count them there. I have to go another way. Sorry. Where's this file? Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. Sorry. Now, let me see. Which is this? For this course, I think I have 16 books for you as well. Yeah, 16 books. So you can use them. You can get some more to do your assignments, but I'm going to send them to you. I know you can do it, okay? I believe you can do it. So don't be afraid. Uh, Technology is not difficult. In fact, technology is beautiful. So thank you. Can we continue now?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Come on. So last week we did the introduction where we looked at perspectives, why we need to study history, and especially in our context, because if someone else writes your history for you, he's going to write it with his own bias. Of course, if we are to write ourselves, we can also,
Hello, doctor.
yes.
Your screen is very small. Can you enlarge it?
No, don't worry. I'm trying to sort some things.
Okay.
Yes. Now we talked about sources. Okay. Come in. Great. Is it bigger now? Or it's
Yes.
too
Now it's
okay.
good.
It is
All
good.
right.
It is enough.
We talked about sources. Okay, as Christians, as children of God, and also as people who should be faithful, we are not just making up things, because sometimes some people write history for political reasons or to boost themselves, to think well about themselves or something like that, to feel good about themselves. But then, like I mentioned last week, I talked about when the farmer is writing the history of the encounter between animals and humans. The farmer would, when the hunter is writing, the hunter will always be the one who is victorious. But you see, there are times many hunters have died in the hands of wild animals. So things like that. But now, what is a historical source? Historical source is a place. Okay, historical source is a place, person, or thing from which historians get their information about the past. Sources only become historical evidence when they are used by historians to make a point. Historical sources are typically divided into two categories. We have what we call the primary source and what we call the secondary source. Primary sources, for example, are sources from the time period under consideration, providing first-hand testimony or direct evidence concerning a topic under investigation. For example, primary sources are the basic raw materials of historical research, out of which historians reconstruct the past. They include eyewitness accounts of events. For example, things that people who were there when that thing happened is very, very important. People who were there when that thing happened, who experienced it, that's eyewitness. So they include eyewitness accounts of the events. They also include what is called archival materials. For example, if you want to write about a church, or it's very likely that the church have kind of a compilation of history of the things that have happened in that church for a while. Or if it's the community, you might find some archives, either within the community or elsewhere. You might find archives where you might find archives where we have all the things that have happened Maybe you have photos, you have some artifacts, you have some structures, and the rest of them. It could be there. So that's a primary source. Also, for example, minutes of council meetings. If you are researching about an organization, even about the church, there are minutes that were written of council meetings that influence major decisions. So those minutes are primary materials. Then correspondences like annual reports. Correspondence is annual report. For example, if you are writing about, let's say, do you know Shashamane in Ethiopia? Is it close to you? Is it Shashamane? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, doctor.
That's
Okay.
clear.
So maybe you're writing about Shashamane, and while you're writing, you'll maybe Christianity in Shashamane. You'll find you go to the churches, you may find letters written to the church and responses the church wrote to another person. That's correspondence. And also you find annual reports. Maybe in the past, the youth leaders or the pastor has written one report and submitted to the leadership of the church. Maybe it's a Kalahiwo church or another church. So you see, these are annual reports. They are also primary. When these things are put together, are gathered together, we would find a number of things that would constitute a primary source for historical report. So, however, primary sources must be critically assessed to establish their authenticity, reliability, and value as evidence. If we're dealing with such, we need to study them carefully, to assess them and see, so that it wouldn't just be something written out of nowhere. So, and that's basically the point of bringing this back again is we did this last week, but the point of bringing this back again, I'm looking at something. I don't want to look down on you people. You are amazing people, and you are scholars in the making, studying theology at this level, at master's level. So chances are that out of you in this class, God will raise people who would contribute greatly into collecting history of Christianity in different regions and maybe come up with something very amazing for your country as a whole. Or maybe somewhere you find yourself, if you're a missionary somewhere, you could begin to help the people see the growth of Christianity, because having a history will help. People would be able to see their lives before Christianity came, and their lives when Christianity came, and their life after Christianity came. This alone will help boost people's faith and help them be the kind of people they should be. So that is why I'm bringing this, okay? So that's primary sources. Then we'll look at primary oral sources. Now, most traditional African societies were non-literate. That is, people were not writing. Instead, they were communicating orally and passing down information from generation to generation. Now, the point is, we borrowed the art of writing from Europeans, who in turn borrowed it from the Semitic people. But some Semitic peoples live in Africa, notably like North Africa and Ethiopia, and here writings as old as Europe, if not older. So, which is very important. Studying Amharic, I was told that many of Amharic Geese, and many church tradition documents were written in Geese. And I want to believe that some of you can read Geese. It's a very important thing. So, but then, pre-literate African society show a major concern for history. Strong in African tradition is the idea of the continuous application of the past to everyday life, so that a living generation is the link between the dead ancestors and the yet unborn. For example, in matter of marriage, inheritance, and succession of office like community leaders or kings or the likes, there's a long African memory. There's a long African memory. In some parts of Nigeria, we still have kings. Even though there are political leaders, we still have kings and rulers. And sometimes when in a community, there might be 3 families that are supposed to be kings. So sometimes if someone comes up and says, I have to be king, people can call him and say, excuse me, according to history, there are 3 families that should produce a king. You see, according to history, and it's family A, family B, family C, these clans are the ones who produce the king. If he says, okay, I belong to this clan and I am among the 3, then they say, okay, is it your turn? Because the last king, the last king, maybe this king has died. The last king is from this family, but the one before that one is from your family. So now it's the turn of this 3rd family to be king. So you see, we relate with history every day. We relate with history for every day, and the past helps us to understand the present. So there's a state or government affairs were conducted with reference to memorized narrative transmitted verbally from generation to generation. So something is trying to, okay. This was often the work of trained specialists. For example, the griots of Western Sudan or the Kado singers of Ashanti. These pre-colonial kingdoms, Ashanti, Benin, and Buganda, could only exist by the help of their chronicler and archivist. For example, there's a tribe in Nigeria called the Yorubas. One thing they do is there's what they call eulogy. So a child now, they will be singing the family eulogy to him. And when they sing the family eulogy, in that family eulogy is a long history. You see, they have crammed it for years. You hear them mentioning his ancestors. Maybe they are hunters. They'll say, you are so and so from this family, the son of so, the son of this, son of that, the son of this, the one who killed an elephant, who was also who killed a leopard, and this with his bare hand. They chronicle a lot of things. The one who was so powerful that he married 10 wives. See, in those eulogies are history in it. So, of course, your context may have some other things apart from what I'm saying, but then we'll find some of these things, chroniclers. That's a kind of chroniclers or archivists, men whose duty was to maintain the official record and transmit it intact to their successors, all done orally. For example, in the king's palace, when a king rises up among the same Yoruba people I'm talking about, in the morning, a eulogist will come. Here comes the great king, this and this of this community, the son of this, the warrior who conquered this town and this town, who was also the son of this. Like, it will chronicle all those things. So you see, within the palace, they will day in, day out be hearing history at work. So such oral records should be regarded as historical sources along with other sources. Indeed, it is now widely recognized that a major task of African historian is to use African memories of the narrator's own lifetime or the stories he or she has heard from the past. The historian must weigh his evidence and come up to a sound and considered judgment. But in each case, oral tradition must be seen as a major source of African history. It helps to fill the very many great gaps in written record. We must take into that. In fact, I do a lot of interview when I'm researching history. I do a lot of interview. I did one very serious investigation. Unfortunately, I lost the data when my computer crashed. And even the written material, I lost all of them. I'm very, very worried about a particular community in my place. I did a lot of work, years of work, but I lost all. So it's unfortunate, but I hope I don't repeat that mistake again. Today, with things like Google Drive, I'll do my best to be saving. I hope I have time to do that research. So back to what we're saying. We have a noise coming in. The only noise allowed in this class is the noise of history. So if the person wants to talk, we give the person room to talk about history of African Christianity. Okay, that's by the way. So now that we have written sources, as already mentioned, some pre-colonial African societies were literate, like your country, and Arabic writings spread in West Africa many years before 1800. Beside African writing, there's a mass of materials about African from non-Africans. Those ones are also good, but it's just that the total dependence on those ones is the problem. The total dependence on those ones is the problem. While we don't totally depend on them, but we can use them as well. Excuse me. So we can use them as well. So there's a great deal of European writing in the colonial period and a few works from Africans in the 19th century. For example, this man, Samuel Ajayi Crowther, Edward Blyden, James Johnson, all in West Africa. The establishment of African universities from 1948 has produced a distinctive school of African history, including a notable one in Ibadan, Nigeria. So early European historians were amateurs, but during the past 60 years, professionals have been attracted to African history. The use of European archives and other resources for light on Africa rather than on European Africa is an important development in written usage, sources usage. Then we have archaeology. Now, archaeology is a study of materials remain left by humankind in the past. By excavating historical sites and carefully examining the object discovered, we can learn much about the past. Though, of course, we know that sometimes there are issues. Let me ask you a question. Do you know anything about Lucy? About Lucy in Ethiopia?
She is our mother,
Yeah.
originated from Ethiopia.
Yes, okay. So what do you think about Lucy?
Yeah, the first man, which is the bone of the first man found in Ethiopia.
South Omo.
So you think Lucy is a human being? Was a human being?
Posture
Of
posture
course.
of human being, not clear. But the posture is like human being.
Okay. The posture is like human. Well, there are a lot of arguments about Lucy. Some people said it was because people who uphold that Lucy is was a human being, they are advocating for evolution. Because though she looks like a human being, but there are issues with the structure portraying like this is not fully human being. So many people who believe that Lucy was many people believe that Lucy was uh, a pre-human version of our evolution. So they think that no, Lucy is a human. Is well, while some think that Lucy was not a human being, is a